City Hope Sindisi Home Sindisi Home Sindisi sebedlina abazalwane akusanyakazeki hosi apapa so hamba ngo7 start a put. Oh, Msindisi wo. Oh, Msindi. Uwe nagu. Uwe oh lite. Ya kipa amandla wokunqoba yangipa. Hayibo. Awunyakaza. Awuyangipha awuyamandla akakubona abantu bethi awuyangipha ama sonke samba kanje wasa hayibo uthi waza yangipha Haibo. Nyakaza. Uthi waza yangipha. Amandla okunqoba. Yangipha. Amandla okunqoba. Ithi la mama, hey mina ba ngikubona nakunala bengisibuza uthunaleni ngakubona usungipha amandla amandla asabe uthi wasayendi hayibo amizwa awuyangipha Akekho yofana naye akekho yofana noJesu akekho yofana naye asimonanga akekho nibambile akekho yofana naye akekho yofana noJesu akekho yofana naye asimonanga akekho yebo akekho uso akekho asimonanga Pinda sekeza tena. Hamba kahle. Hayibo. Uyithanda nje umuntu wesifazana. Uyishaya ichiza. Tena yeah akekho yofana naye akekho yofana noJesu akekho yofana naye asimonanga akekho iphi alto akekho yofana naye akekho yofana noJesu akekho yofana Matula kamnandi Asisi soprano Swayze. Akekho akekho. Ayibo. Hayi akekho. Asimbonanga. Sonke akekho. Kamnandi obaba siyabonga baba siyabonga baba siyabonga isamusa hayi Ngingako ngicula ngihlabelela babujesu waphakamiswa unyakaza uthumese khona umthala wezinsuku nasiphina silalela ukusho kwakhe nasiphi na isimo sona siyamlalela nasiphi na isimo siyamlalela ungcwele ungcwele uThixo ungcwele mabakutu misa sabantu wenongcwele wena wenongcwele ingcwele ngcwele abakuthumisa abantu mabakuthumisa abantu bakuthumisa abantu sabantu wenongcwele oh baba singanise azulini ena nakho oh baba singanise oh baba singanise azulini ena nakho bakhona basakezelele awuhaka nilunge haka nilunge ngoba nina obantu othi thingabuyela kanjani nathi awuyazi sini imdala twala yena ngifela kuwe twala yena ngifela kuwe yebo twala yena ngifela kuwe twala yena ngifela kuwe uthi emini uyisihla kusami wena nkosi uyazi wena nkosi uyazi wena nkosi uyazi wena nkosi uyazi ukuthi kuthanda kanjani inhliziyo wena nkosi uyazi wena nkosi uyazi wena nkosi uyazi uthi andinato Tikena wewe Jehova andinando tikena Zoshaya nje ngifuna ukujiva nabazalwane ngibonile la ngaphambili kuyajiva ungithathe down kingelutho wangibeka high wangenza umuntu kubeka Nkosi ungiphumelelise bakhona bakazi ukujiva ngifuna nithi Zokhona yebo kubeka Ake ngihambe nabo mama ke samba kanje manje. Ngibe phakathi kwenu. Asibagcwalisela abantwana. Was Kubeka. Ayasiya baba ke manje sibone. Lilizela. Asambe ba. Sila. Was. Ayo. What's 1, 2? Okay, ngoba vele bajayiva imani bazokozani bazalwane. Siyabajayivisa kuthiwe namhlanje usuku le-youth angethi imfundisi. Siyabajayivisa bafundisi. Ingane ningayilaleli kakhulu le ingoma. Eyengane. Inkosi mayivuma thina sophuma uthina sophumelela. Inkosi mayivuma thina sophuma uthina sophumelela. Keyboard. Ikhona le ngoma yenethi Jerusalema ikhaya lami ngilondoloze uhambe zunga ngishina Badala, what's Kinandala say? What's that? Kinandala say? Oti ekamale kosi Holy yo ingaba opepela oh abantu abasha ngenyini becula. Ake ngibona umuntu omushenza kanje. Ethi ngiyathanda ukubona abantu bejabula. Ngiyathanda ukubona abantu. Bathini? Ibabe bese ibabe. Asenkosi uyazi. Ngiyabonga kakhulu sengiyaqeda mina. Cela senkosi uyazi bafu bese siyayivala. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Ake ngisibani. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi. Ayisho kamnandi asave sikhosana. Cela ungiphe nje kakhulu mfethu uyiphakamise. Oh! Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi tutus. Wena Nkosi uyazi. 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 Imkhuleko yethu yazi. Imkhuleko yethu yazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wasizimpe singazazi. Uyazi. Wena smakathi uyazazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Ithi angimbona munye ongafaniswa nawe. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Yebona sebuthime ibana ngathembe yena. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Asambe. Wena Nkosi uyazi. 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 Imkhuleko yethu uyazi. Babuya yazi. Uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Amazulu athembe wena. Umhlaba uthembe wena. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi. Singathe baba uyazi. Ungasilahli baba uyazi. Izwe lithembe wena. Nkosi uyazi. Wena Nkosi uyazi.
An inspirational tale of diligence, detailing how believing in yourself despite all obstacles can lead to unprecedented levels of success. Theo Baloy's story is a reminder of staying true to oneself, perseverance, and embracing your destiny. Please welcome to the stage, Theo Baloyi.
To His Grace, PG Nzuza, in his absence, to the Reverends, and all protocol observed. I greet you guys in the name of Jesus. Sanbonani, Absheni, Dimachoroni. Good afternoon. As already introduced, my name is Theo Baloyi. I am the founder of Africa's premium sneaker brand, Bar 2, and our vision is to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with. And right at the core of our business, we've got a mission to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. Before I get into that part of the story or that part of the talk, I just want to thank the church for the invitation to be here. It's such an honor and a privilege to be a part of this conference, to most importantly speak to the youth. And my message today will be maximizing opportunities and having that mental resilience, because it has been my journey, and throughout my journey, I'm a product of opportunity. Today I might be known as Theo Baloyi, the Batu guy, as they call me. And obviously my work has impacted people's lives, and I've been awarded for my work. But it doesn't obviously go without saying or acknowledging the fact that I come from extremely humble beginnings. And in as much as I might be an inspiration to many, as they say, I am a product of opportunity. And through my journey, I think it has been a journey of grace more than anything. A journey of being trusted with an assignment, to pursue my gifts, to be of service to my community. And throughout that journey, it hasn't been easy. As I've mentioned that I come from extremely humble beginnings, a big part of my story is articulated or attributed to the origins of Alexander Township, mainly because that's where I started my businesses. That's where I lived when I studied for my undergrad. But originally, I come from a village called Pake. It's a few kilometers outside Hammarskraal. I don't know how many of you guys know Hammarskraal. It's in rural area. I used to walk about 2 kilometers to school. I was born into a very, I think, average South African family, to a mother and a father who were in matrimony, born with my sister as well. I've got a younger sister. And my dad, who's late now, was a male nurse at Jubilee Hospital. And my mom used to be a store manager at a furniture store. I don't know if they're still around, but it's called Louis Furniture Store. And I wouldn't necessarily say that we were poor, but we had parents that cared for us, that provided the basics that an ordinary South African child would need. Never went to expensive schools. Like I said, I used to walk to 2 kilometers to school, which was a public school. But in me, there was a boy who had big dreams. Dreams to conquer, dreams to really impact change. And in that journey, like I've said, I've had a lot of opportunities. Hence my message today, I'm going to talk about maximizing opportunities. Some opportunities are big, some are small. Some come directly to you, some come indirectly to you. But how do you actually go about maximizing those opportunities? Tell you what, how I have maximized my opportunities. I come from a village where I think if you are successful, you are deemed to be successful. The careers that we're exposed to, you were either a teacher, a nurse, or a policeman, or a soldier. So I studied accounting at school, and I was very good in accounting. But the connotation at the time, or the mindset at the time, was that accounting is very difficult. It's not easy to come from our village and to be an accountant. But I was good in accounting, to a point that when I matriculated, I passed with distinctions. And my dad later left his job to be an estate agent, to sell houses. And in 2008, as we all know, that it was the credit crunch, the economy was not doing well. He couldn't sell any houses, so he didn't have any income. But then here I am, he's got a son who passed well in accounting. He believed in me so much that he sold his car for me to go to varsity. And in varsity, as many of you would know, that you get into varsity, there's a registration fee, there's tuition fees, there's many other, it's expensive to be in varsity. So oftentimes, you come up with a payment plan. Either you pay, 50% deposit, or you pay a deposit, and you come up with a payment plan either on a monthly basis or on a semester basis, or if you've got the means, you can pay 100%. So the proceeds from the sale of the car were not enough to cover my tuition for the year. So it was only enough for the deposit. So when I left home, knowing the situation that I was in at the time, obviously they couldn't afford to pay for my accommodation. I had to come and live in Alex with my uncle. And I already knew that I was at a disadvantage because I'm in varsity, but I don't know how my parents are going to pay for my tuition for the rest of the year. But one thing that I knew very well was that for me to set my foot in varsity for that first semester, it was an opportunity. Because not everyone had a parent or had parents that could sell their cars so that their kids could be in varsity. So I was, and still is, and still am, very grateful for that opportunity. So I got here to Johannesburg, where everything else happens fast. Lots of opportunities. You could be easily influenced by friends, by the streets, by the fashion trends, many other things, as opposed to Emakaya, where you don't necessarily have much to influence you. Because the only thing you see is cows and and the sun that is too hot, Whereas here you can literally walk to Sandton, you can walk to Greenstone, you can walk to, Rosebank, and there's a lot of factors that can easily influence you negatively. I've got friends that also, we come together from home in Makaya. Some are in Pretoria, some are in Joburg, some are studying in Durban, some are studying in Cape Town. And as the youth, you get into conversations as to what's hip and happening, what's the latest fashion trends, what are the coolest places to hang around, what are we doing when we're not studying? Because in varsity, you don't have classes every day. Or sometimes you do have classes, but you only have one class in a day. By 12 o'clock, you're done with school. And then you've got the city to yourself. So that was the group of friends that I had, who were going with the theme and the trends of being in the big cities. I made a call that I'm going to quit all of that. I'm going to quit the friends. I'm going to quit anything that might be a risk to me and my studies. Anything that will factor in as a risk to my studies or that might influence me negatively to my studies, I'm going to quit. And part of it was dating. Excuse me, Reverend, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but part of it was dating. So I had to literally tell my then girlfriend that, this thing is not going to work because, I've got an opportunity to study, and anything that might be negative towards my studies or impact the opportunity that I've got, I need to cut it off. Cut off that. Never dated when I was doing my undergrad and postgrad. I'm sorry, guys, but it's the truth, Sorry, I don't mean to put you in a bad tear, but it's the truth. Quit all the friends. All the friends that were going with the trends, that were going with what's, hip and happening at the time. Literally any possible thing that was a risk towards my studies and my opportunity. I quit all of it. And I mean it, all of it. Then, here I am, I'm in Joburg, first year. Studied so hard that year. I was an A student, but I was never a smart student. There's a difference. I was a hard worker who used to get A's, but I was never generally a smart kid. Because I was a guy who would go to library on Saturday. I was a guy when I never had class, I would still go to library. I was a guy who would study even on a Sunday so that I can get the A's. Because I knew that my dad sold his car. So meaning that if I don't get a bursary for that year, or if I don't do well in my academics, chances are I'm going to go back home. That was my reality. That was me being honest with myself. I was not trying to be better or seem better or anything. It was me looking myself in the mirror and saying, this is who I am, this is where I come from, and this is where I am and where I can go, and how I need to maximize that. I studied so hard that year that I got top accounting student of the year. I got 100% bursary from PwC through Tomorrow Trust. And what happened was that, I don't know if you guys know PwC, but it's a firm that I worked for. So what happened is that after I got the top accounting student of the year, that was in 2009, after the credit crunch, business is picking up, the economy is picking up. PwC did so well that year that they wanted to sponsor an accounting student. So they went to Tomorrow Trust. They were like, hey, Tomorrow Trust, we're looking for one accounting student that we can sponsor. And obvious. Obvious. So now we're taking it back from Park, right? I want to take you through a series of opportunities, right? Remember, maximizing opportunities and mental resilience. So now, my dad sold his car. It's an opportunity. I work hard. PwC comes in, sponsors my studies. Let's stop there. So I'm in my second year now, and this is why I'm saying I'm a product of opportunity. So I worked so hard that year, in my second year, to a point that, PwC comes in and says, oh, we're looking for a student that can come for vacation work. So normally when campus closed, you go for vacation work and then you shadow people who are accountants, because my dream was to be an accountant. So you come and you shadow accountants. So when I'm shadowing there, it was a 2 weeks program, during school holidays. And I go to PwC and I work, right? But then something comes in me to say, okay, I'm already here. I still have a few more years until I graduate and work for PwC. But I need to start doing something. I'm 19 at the time. Myself and Andrew, who's my best mate, we were like, how about that we actually start being independent and try to go over and beyond the scope of school and try to get into business a little bit. So living in Alex, we start realizing the consumer behavior, that people like dressing up, driving nice cars, they're chilling in the corners, in circles. And oftentimes when there's a funeral, there's after parties or they go to wherever to hang around. But not everyone can really afford this lifestyle. And people like looking good and smelling good. So how about we identify a market? How about that? Since not everyone can afford to buy 1,000 rand colognes and perfumes, we go identify a supplier, oil-based perfumes, we source them, and we sell them in the community for the days when we're not occupied with schoolwork. And we sort of get busy. Then we identify the supplier. Now we don't have the capital to start the business. We knew a guy, Tumelo, who used to live in 2nd Avenue. He used to sell ties, cufflinks, pocket square. And we go to this guy, we're like, look, dude, you have so much stock in your bedroom. How about that we give us on consignment? Give us the stock. We go sell it for you. Gautrain was the new in thing towards 2010. So all of these business people, they're commuting using Gautrain. So we can go there and sell the cufflinks, pocket squares, and ties to these corporate people, even in office parks. Then we did that. We add our markup. End of the month, we give him his share. We take our share. And through that business, we raised our capital to start the perfume business. That's another opportunity. So we start the perfume business. We used to sell door to door in Alex, door to door, Alex. And at the time we used to do credit sales. Some of the people, still owe us the money even today. But then that was an opportunity to be in business because now you learn the dynamics of business, the art of selling, the art of marketing, engaging with people, selling skills. We were young at the time. We often joked around that if you go to Alexander today, at the time, you go to Alexander at the time and someone is smelling good, you should know that Andrew no Theo bandlulile la. We used to sell to everyone. And we start that business, we do so well to a point that as I speak to you today, the last time I got money from my parents or support from my parents, I was 19. The last time my parents spent money on me was then when I was 19. From then, I've been independent. I'm 30 now, and I've been living independently on my own through the opportunities that I've gotten, through the help that I've gotten from people in this journey of trying to, make a success of my life. Then we start that business. It grows so good to a point that we had a big clientele in Alex that literally people used to call us asking for perfumes. So I would be sitting on the couch, someone will come, knock at my door, call me, and buy 3 colognes. And literally on that spot, I'll get 600 rand, and I'm just a student. But it's a business that I created through opportunities. Fast forward into the journey, I graduate on record time, not because I'm smart, but because I used to put in the work. Graduate on record time, and I get to PwC. So part of the bursary contract was that after I graduate, I'm going to work for them for a year. So now I'm working for PwC. It's a 1-year fixed-term contract. I do so well that year, and through soft and technical skills and a positive attitude, I've always been that guy who embodies and oozes great energy in everything that I do. In everything that I do. Because one of my strengths, and I think one thing that God has blessed me with, is a strong self-esteem. And through that, I was the guy that who was in the office, and we're sitting in a boardroom of 10 with partners, with seniors, with associates. If I go out for coffee now, I would just ask, hi guys, I'm going for coffee. Would anyone want some? You know what I mean? And even though I can't carry 10 cups at once, but the fact that I showed and offered to bring coffee, it's things that makes people, sort of draw into you, the energy that makes people draw into you. Before I knock off, it is all the managers that I've worked with. Before I knock off, even when I do my work and finish with my work, before I knock off, before I pack my laptop at work, I'd go to the manager, hi, Ryan, how are you doing? I'm done with the deliverables. I've sent you this email. I've done that. I'm about to go home. Would you like me to help you with anything? Whereas my counterparts, they just pack and leave. And I used to work with white counterparts that are, come from privileged backgrounds, so they don't really need to, So I was that guy. So worked so well that year, a group of, I think there were 120 of us, they took two graduates permanently. And I was part of the 2. Obvious, right? Obvious. So now I'm permanent at PwC. So because of the nature of corporate, you're an accountant, you work on different projects, you travel, you out of province, you're working long hours, sometimes you're working over the weekends. So the side business is starting to die out a bit because now I'm not giving it the attention that it needed and the focus that it needed. And obviously, I'm new into corporate, so I don't really need that side hustle money anymore, if I put it like that. Because now I'm employed, I can survive on my own. So I focus on my career, PwC, and then I grow in that space. A project comes, to Dubai. It was a 3-month program, a project. They wanted 1 partner on the job, 1 senior manager, and 1 associate. I was associate at the time. Do you know who they chose? Obvious. It's obvious. A group of, I think, 3,000 employees at the time. Our team was 800, and they only wanted 1 senior associate. Get into the project, it's 3 months. We do well there. So if you don't know, South African accountants are known to be well respected in the world, top 5. So when we get there, Dubai, we do our asset management job, 3 months, and that project gets extended to 3 years. Grace. Grace, grace, grace. Then they recruit my partner, who was my boss at the time, Nils Snell, to say, Nils, we want you to set up an asset management team in Dubai. Set it up. Nils says, okay, cool, takes the job, resigns at PwC South Africa, goes to PwC Dubai. And obvious. Who do you think is going to take with when he recruits the team? So then we follow Nils, we get employed at PwC. I get to live in PwC. I work in Dubai, PwC, Dubai, 4 times what I was earning in South Africa. Tax-free salary. And I live. I'm in Jumeirah. There's Burj Khalifa. When in Dubai, you can travel to the States. You're in the middle of the world, literally. You can go anywhere. And those projects, it's a Middle East project, so it gets to expose me to other countries. Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the Europe, So I could have easily been that Instagram guy living the Instagram life. But then there's one thing that is missing. Because if we head through this series of opportunities, I'm talking about Theo. My reality is that whenever I come back home to visit, we come maybe with the team, with Riyad, my manager at the time. We obviously separated OR Tambo, I go home, freshen up. Then I've got my nice car, driving to LX, My weekend is like chilling with the guys. Maybe I go home, check my parents in Hammanskraal. And then Monday morning, we meet again at the airport, at the Emirates lounge. And we talk, hey, Rian, how was your weekend? Oh, no, my weekend was good. No, I just relaxed. I was at home. I checked my parents. And how was yours? No. My other cousin was getting married in Australia. So on Saturday, I was in Australia. And I've got an uncle who's got a farm in Cape Town. And we were at the farm. But I'm realizing, man, no. Who's fooling who here? Like, we are different. Miss. Me and this guy, we are different. Even the way we spend our time and our resources and what I'm exposed to and what he's exposed to, it's different. Because being nabo spiwe, nabo tepoeka, see, there's something. Me and this guy, we're not the same. Yes, we fly the same aircraft. We fly in business class. Yes, we sleep at the same hotel, whatever. But our reality is that he's not from Alex. His people and my people are different. Our conversations are different. So now I'm asking myself, I've had great opportunities in my life. And I've been guided by great people and mentored by great people that have offered me opportunities. And oftentimes when I wanted to thank them, just to say, thank you, I want to buy you a present, whatever, they've often said, no, we don't want you to thank us in anyhow. The only thing that we want you to do is to pay it forward. Now I'm thinking, all the time when I'm in Alex, there's a lot of people that are unemployed that I know. That some of them have sort of lost hope. They don't have employment. They don't have jobs. Do I become that guy that drives in with a GTI in Alex and becomes the talk of the township alone? And I'm the only guy. And I'm going to be pleased by the fact that I get the praises and people talk about me alone. Nah. And they said I should pay it forward. So how about that I start a business or something that can reignite hope in our community? When you talk to these guys, you realize that it's not because they're lazy. It's not because of they don't want to. It's not because of they chose crime. It's because some of them, a lot of them, they didn't get the opportunities that we've gotten. So am I going to stand from a point of privilege and criticize? Or am I going to take the opportunities and the access that I've got and build together with my people? With that being said, I used to buy a lot of sneakers in my travels back at the time. And I buy a lot of limited edition sneakers in Dubai, And when I come back home, even when we at like Rosebank or something, the guys at Sports Scene, whatever, they'll say, hey, those are nice kicks. We've never seen them before. Where did you get them? Because we know they're not in South Africa, Then I realized that there's actually a gap. And towards end of 2015, I had such a valuable collection of sneakers, limited edition. And there's a saying that says, if you're buying too much of something, then why not own it? Because you're spending money on something often. You might as well own that thing or own the value chain or contribute to the value chain in terms of ownership. So I'm like, no, man, why am I buying so many sneakers? I might actually start a sneaker brand that is my own, that I can own, that I can also help pay it forward to the community. I took all my savings. I worked for 5 years. So another important note that I want to drop is that when I worked at Dubai, and I was earning 4 times what I was earning, tax-free, I never changed my lifestyle. I drove the same car. I lived the same life. I still came back and bought the quota, yako 1, yako 10. Never changed anything, never. To a point, people are asking, this guy, does he work in Dubai? Well. Oh, he's sharing us, this guy, Because I had the same car. Nothing changed in my life. Nothing. I saved up. From the subsistence allowance to my salary, everything. Then 5 years later, I took the savings. I used them as seed capital and started the business. Part 2. With a vision to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with, to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. And I did about research of 18 months, research and development for 18 months around the sneaker, and retail, sneaker business and retail in the world. So if you look at, we've got 7 continents in the world. If you look at South America, they've got a brand called Ipanema and Havanians from Brazil. Then we've got Nike coming from the States, started by Phil Knight, and we also have Under Armour, started by Kevin Plank, and obviously, the popular one, Converse, started by a guy called Chuck Taylor in the States, and many other European shoe brands, Puma, Adidas, and many other Italian footwear brands. But when I came to Africa, I couldn't find one brand that can be benchmarked with those footwear brands, benchmarked in terms of revenue, product development, and many others. That is why our vision says, we want to build a shoe brand that Africans can proudly affiliate with. Long story short, then I start, after 18 months of research and development, I start with 100 pairs. Before I did the mesh edition 100 pairs, I was declined 13 times by the factory. Declining me, because I had a vision of building a shoe out of mesh material. And mesh material in footwear manufacturing is used as a component of a shoe, on top, on the side, at the back. So I had a vision of building the entire shoe with mesh material, because at the time there was a trend happening of happy socks or colorful socks, mainly dominated by a brand called Happy Socks. So I wanted to build a happy shoe. So when I pitched the idea to them, they're like, no, there's no way, because mesh is used as a component. Until I flew down to Durban and I met with the owner and convinced them to approve my concept. And then I got approved after 13 times, being declined. 100 pairs. Then we went on to launch the business with 400 pairs. Then we went on to launch, after the 400 pairs, a week later, we went on to say 1,000 pairs. And then, we went on to 3,000 pairs. Now we do thousands and thousands and thousands of pairs a month. They can't afford to miss my call. The very same factory that declined me 5 years ago. Today when I call them, they can't afford to miss my call. So my message today is about maximizing opportunities. Because even when I got to Dubai, I still leveraged off not only the experience that I got in working overseas and the amazing people that I've worked with, but also resources. And even when I've built my savings, I never used them for lifestyle. I used them to start a business. So if you listen to my story from how I started with my dad selling his car, right? That's an opportunity for me to be in varsity. When I got to varsity, then I get 100% bursary. It elevates me. When I get 100% bursary, I work so hard, I don't lose the bursary. PwC comes on board looking for one student. I get into that graduate program for a year, 120 graduates. I work so hard, I dedicate, I get employed, permanent. In permanent at PwC, I've got people that I worked with that had been working for the firm for 12 years, 15 years, 18 years. They've never been outside South Africa. Here's this boy from Alex who just got in. He gets a project in Dubai. It's 3 months, and I get into that project. We deliver, we work so hard, that we get employed permanent in Dubai. I get to Dubai, we keep on working. My savings, I'm earning a lot. I'm earning 4 times what I'm earning. I'm not misusing the money. I save up. Then I go and start the business. When I start the business, I start in a room in Alex. I'm selling from the boot of my car. I'm building it from the ground up. To date, we employ 250 people in the business with over 30 stores. So you see how far I've walked. It's a series of opportunities covered by grace of God to be of service to our people. And that's how I started. And today I want to speak exactly about that, to say you need to maximize the opportunities that are coming your way, irrespective of how big they are or how small they are, whether they're direct or indirect. Be authentic to who you are, because it started by me being honest with myself and my background and knowing where I come from and making the decisions that are going to propel me in life to be the person that I am. Just this year, we got the Job Creation Company of the Year at the Top Empowerment Award. Last year, again, we got the Transformation Champion of the Year at the BBQ Awards. Those two alone speaks to our mission to reignite hope and create sustainable jobs. The transformation talks about the transformation that we've made in our people. Today, when I drive in, I see our people that we employed in the business. Some have bought their first cars. Some are on their third cars. Some have erected tombstones for their late ones. Some have built homes for their parents. Some have bought their first properties. Some have gotten their first undergraduate qualifications. And that's the transformation that we started with. Or the transformation, rather, that we've impacted in our communities. But if you think about it, I always say this, that I quit one job that provided for me and my family, and went on to start a business that provided for 250 more families. And it all came from maximizing the opportunities that I've gotten in life so that we can be of service to our communities. This year alone, again, we were on the top 100 most admired African brands, ranking number 10 on that list. And I'm talking about a study that was conducted by Brands Africa. Over 28 countries in Africa, which constitutes 80% of African consumers. And here's this brand from Alex. It's ranking number 10 alongside Dangote Group, MTN, DSTV. We are sitting comfortably at number 10, going to number 1. And the reason for that is because the core of our business is not rooted in profit. The core of our business is rooted in being of service to our people. And that is why the grace of law of God keeps on coming our way and protecting us throughout this journey and being with us. It's all through His mercy and grace that we are here. Because we made it clear with God when we started to say, God, it's not about the money, it's not about anything else, but I want to be of service to my community. Because I was employed, I was working in Dubai, I was comfortable. It's not like I didn't have a job, but I knew people didn't have a job. God tested me and said, if you believe in me, you're going to take what I've blessed you with, and you're going to invest it in what you're praying about and in what you believe in, and then I will bless you abundantly. But abantu bakholwa kumoto ehambayo. So I had a vision, I had a dream. And I remember I went to my boss' office, Nils, who gave me the opportunity to be in Dubai. And I told him that I want to quit my job. I want to go back home and start the business of selling shoes. He looked at me and, smiled and said, okay, if you believe in it, go, and you're still young, go and trial it. And I went and started the business, and they wished me well. But what I'm trying to say is this: at the time, no one knew the voice that I had in me. Because when God spoke to me alone. So I didn't care who says what, because they don't know what God said to me when I started. So I had to be authentic to that voice and follow it to start the business. And the other day he sent me a message on LinkedIn. He was like, hey, Theo, when I wished you well when you quit your job, I didn't wish you this well. I think you're abusing my well wishes now. And it's through that journey. And when I started, to be honest with you, and this comes from a humble heart, my vision was not even about the 30 stores and 250 people. All I wanted to do was just to be of service and follow the inner voice. And just today, I'm 30 years with 30 stores. And all through His grace. And we all have different dreams, different beliefs. We just need to be persistent and be authentic to our core so that we can maximize the opportunities. Because you never know where that inner voice will lead you. Your dreams and your visions are a blessing to other people. You might not know it. You might think it's just an idea that will sustain you, but you don't know the impact that it will have in other people. Today I drive in Alex without having to worry a lot about our people, because our business has created many other Theos who are now role models in our community. And it's through the series of opportunities that we've gotten. I was saying now that to the reverends that I speak a lot at conferences, corporates, but to be invited by a church and to be in the presence of excellency, in the presence of grace, it's a great opportunity for me, because you never know the blessings that comes with being in that platform. And you never know what might happen from this opportunity. It's a Saturday, and my EA was saying, but Theo, you're going to go on a Saturday? It's a Saturday. I'm going to go. Because I'm a product of opportunity. And for the fact that you are invited by His Excellency to come to this conference, it means there's something that we are doing great in the public that, contributes to great values, or that showcases great values. So it's an opportunity, Lulu. Lulu is my EA. I'm going to go. So, to the leadership, to everyone who's here, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my brother. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Nyembe,
Hola.
you can go.
Uktula, thanks a lot, Mr. Theo Baloi, for sharing your journey of mental resilience with us. Thanks a lot, my brother. Much appreciated. Ngisukuma ngibingelele inglozi yebandla likamoya ingcwele, inglozi uNorevayeli. Ngibingelele umholi wethu uMalusi engekho phakathi kwethu njengamanje, kepha sikholelwa ekutheni ukhona ngokomoya. Ngibingelele abagcotshwa, izikhonzekazi, izifundikazi, amalunga nebandla lonke. Ngithi ukuthula kwenkosi uJesu Kristu makube nathi, amen. Bazalwane, ngibuka isikhathi, ngizozama ukuba i-presentation yami ngiyifinqe ngendlela eyisimangaliso, kodwa ngeke ngize ngisheshe kakhulu. Bazalwane, njengamanje sizothula i-22 Spiritual Conference. So this is just a preview yayo. For today, i-discussion yethu izoba kulezi ihloko. So this is the topics that we're going to discuss. 2021 March Conference remarks, 2022 conference options, conference dates and venues. Because in the that's what they're looking towards to understand which number dates way to venues as well as IMAPI. Conference format, we've got two options, option 1 and option 2. And then we may share some of the conference content, then budget and risk and AMA contributions, Bazalwane. First of all, before Ngiegwi conference elandelayo 2022, I would like to appreciate AMA contributions, Abazalwane, Abasenzele wona, just before a conference and during a conference, and more so around after the conference. Those contributions Bazalwane asize kakhulu ekuthini sikwazi ukuthini sikhokhele ama-service providers wethu. As we speak today or now, we don't owe anyone. Onke ama-service providers wethu esawasebenzisa during a conference, wonke akhokhelwe in full. Siyabonga kakhulu ubazalwane. And again, I would like to thank support esayitholayo kubazalwane from different regions. Siqala eJoburg, siya eLimpopo, sisuka eLimpopo, sihamba siya eThekwini, eKZN Central, size siyogcina eKZN North. yonke support esayitholayo bazalwane siyabonga kakhulu conference team yasilekelela kakhulu. Ngithande ukuxolisa technical glitches abakhona kwi anatomy esesebenzisa. It's either during a process registration ngoba like ngiyazi ukutheni kukhona abanye abazalwane bebefuna ukuregister kepha kwatsho ukuthi kunzima ekutheni basebenzise i-anatomy yethu. Siyaxolisa kakhulu kulabo bazalwane. And again, I know ukuthi especially eKZN Central kunabazalwane abaningi i-anatomy ayisibatshelile ekutheni this is the area that abazobe behleli kuyona bazobe behleli kwi-main auditorium, but bathe mabefika to the venue itself kwatholakala ukuthi kunoguquko olukhona bazithola sebehleli kuma overflow rooms. Siyaxolisa kakhulu kulokho. Sizozama ngazo zonke izindlela to correct that because again this we're going to use anatomy, but there will be some technical improvements okuzomele ekuthini siwenze around that one. Ngiqhubeka ke manje sengiya kwi-22 conference options. Awu-2 ama-options wethu esinawo. Option 1 i-conference esijwayele 8 days conference eba kwi-venue eyodwa, and we are hoping that we are going to use City Hill Church or the station, and enye indawo futhi esizamile ukuthi siyithole i-Durban City Hall esiyaziwe for the opening Sunday and the closing Sunday. And of course, option 1 will be possible if COVID-19 restrictions relaxiwe bazalwane. Hallelujah. Then option 2 is the option njoba eshilo umgcotshwa ukuba ekuseni what if ukuthi i-COVID-19 ibe i-norm, it's the new norm. Thulithi na next term ayidlulile njoba sicabanga ukuthi izobe sidlulile. So therefore we needed to have plan B or option 2. And option 2 yilo sisebenzise kule conference esiphuma kuyona ka-2021 where we were moving from region to region. Iyona nto esizoyisebenzisa ke leyo for in next year. But this one is just plan B wethu or option B should it happen that COVID-19 is still with us. Dates and venues for option 1. Option 1 is the option where I said sizobe sisonke kwi-venue eyodwa kanye kanye kwisonto leli elilodwa. So for i-opening Sunday yethu izoba on the 27th of February 2022. Izindawo esizosebenzisa i-Durban City Hall noma i-Durban Exhibition Center. Zombi lezi ndawo we've already booked, but of course not confirmed yet. Then i-closing Sunday yethu izoba ngomhla ka-6 March 2022, and again izoba se-Durban City Hall or at Durban Exhibition Center, but preferably is at Durban City Hall bazalwane. Then bese kuthi i-Monday to isabatha izoba ngomhla ka-28 February kuya kumhla ka-5 March 2022. This is under option 1. Should it happen that ngeke sikwazi kuthini sihlanganyele kwi-venue eyodwa, of course we've got a plan and we've got option 2, and i-conference first day izoba ngomhla ka-26 February. So please notice that if everything goes well, sizoba kwi-venue eyodwa sizoqala on a Sunday, which is the 27th. However, if COVID restrictions ezobe ngaka-relaxwa to the point where singakwazi ukuba kwi-venue eyodwa sizoqala i-conference yethu njoba sayenza kulo nyaka sizoqala ngesabatha which will be the 26th of February. And then i-conference last day izoba ngomhla ka-6 March 2022, and which then gives us i-Wednesday ukuthi sikwazi ukutravela from region to region. Ama-venues if siya ku-option 2 siwabukhile njengamanje noma esisebenzela ngaphezu kwawo for i-KZN Central, we are still looking at City Hill Church or the station. Bese kuthi eLimpopo sibheke i-210 noma iLira. Bazalwane, one of the issues or challenges that we had with previous conference and that we therefore need to work on, especially around iLimpopo, issue of connectivity. we struggled a lot. There were moments, there were times where the technical team, Mr. Kuzwayo, Victor, Mr. Vezi, Mr. Mabaso, where they had to then climb to the top of the roof so that we will try and get a connectivity because it was so poor. We even did not manage which speaker the speaker could not was not able to connect, and we therefore asikwazanga ukuthini sikwazi ukuthi sikhulume. But ngomusa kaNkulunkulu a miracle happened when the grace was about to get to the podium with the 2 bars that we had with connectivity. So we managed the conference. So around the Limpopo, so there's an issue window 210 that talks to connectivity that we need to work on. But around the Limpopo, we've got 2 venues that we're looking at, 210 and of course Ilera. Here in Joburg, Langham, and the other venue that we're looking at should Ilangham singakwazi ukuyithola is the same room esikuyona njengamanje of which we could all see actually ama-facilities akhona mahle ngendlela isimangaliso i-focus rooms iyona izona zindawo lezi esizosebenzisa uma sila eJoburg. And of course KZN North njengamanje indawo besingakayitholi but kunezindawo esisazifunayo njengamanje siyathemba ekutheni in 2 weeks time latest then sizokwazi sithole indawo yase KZN North. Conference format for option 1 sithemba ekutheni by next year will be allowed to accommodate 50% yabazalwane in the venue or 100%. So if it's 50% and you are looking at ukusebenzisa City Hill Church, so City Hill Church under normal conditions is able to take about 3,000 people inside, and so therefore if you are looking at 50% of that, so we're looking at about 1,500 people for option 1. So in the way City Hill Church will easily accommodate us, whether 50% or 100%, which is allowed for a venue. So that's where we are in terms of option 1. And option 2, this was the year where we're going to have 2 days in each region and then move thereafter to another region. And while Sigloyo venue layo hostayo, amanyama regions will then be connecting kuma social media platforms. Budget and risk. Again, this year we've tried to minimize our cost. We've kept fewer musicians and external speakers, which to the minimum. And again, I know which like but we had some discussion now. So again, music budget, we've kept it low. And sizame ukuthula ama-venues wonke which are affordable, and ama-service providers wethu esiwasebenzisayo service providers which are quite affordable. And again, into esenzile ku-2022 budget, we've kept it flat. When you look at 2021 budget and 22 budget, we've kept it flat. There is no movement basically. So this year are the risk. If we don't receive expected contributions, we will then have challenges. Actually, senze umhlangano osezingeni which everyone will have expected. But so siyacela abazalwane basilekelele ngemnikelo just before the year end. And of course, any resource corner, if we could have unforeseen expense, whatever that could happen. So the request siyacela abazalwane basilekelele banikele ngokuphelele in full before the year end. And again, sizozama in the team to visit most branches before the year end. And the bazalwane bank account esizosebenzisa bank account esiyaziyo sonke centenary account iyona account esizosebenzisa kuthini sifake khona iminikelo yethu. Bazalwane, this is my last slide. When we visited different branches in 2019 and 2020, most suggested that we need to review our contributions, because when you look at the slide, year 2017, for the employed, we are paying 5,250, and for unemployed, 2,500, all the way down, as 300 Rand. And when we started 2018, for the 3 years, we kept imnikelo or our contributions flat for 3 years. And again, it was a drop from 2017 to 2018, 2019, 2020, where employed were paying or we were requesting contributions of 2,700 Rand. And again, year 2021, when you look at just the employed, we increased it slightly to 3,100. But what we then did was we were requested by our branches to say we need to then review the category unemployed and pensioners. And that category from 2021, from 2018, 2019, 2020, so that category reduced by 350. So it went down to 950 for unemployed and pensioners. And again, we all know which inflation in between last year to this year. But what we have done, we've kept our contributions again flat, and we intend to keep our contributions flat for 3 years. 2021 being the first year, next year will be the second year, and again 2023, our contributions were to, as shown, the employed were still requesting 3,100, unemployed 950 Rand, pensioners 950 Rand, youth 800 Rand, and izingane 200 Rand. Okubalekile babazalwane kakhulu esicelayo kuke kusibeke under huge pressure when umhlangano ususondele 2 weeks before a conference. And when you look at our contributions as a collective at that time, you find that we are still below 50%. We're sitting at 40%. It makes our life very difficult because 1, we cannot then pay our service providers, and 2, we don't know to say umhlangano is going to be full days, full 8 days, or normal finance ratio season. So then it puts us, everyone, under pressure. To say long before umhlangano ungene, abazalwane bonke bese besilekelelile ngama contributions in full. So that was my last slide, and I'm looking forward to 22 conference, and I know which in the spiritual world, the conference has been prepared, it's complete, it's done. It's now us in the physical world where we just need to prepare for it and then execute it. And I know that by 2022, we are going to have a good and excellent conference. And I'm hoping that we shall then go for option 1, where we shall be using 1 venue and full 8 days. That's what I miss. And that's what I'm praying for. And that's what I'm hoping for 22 conference. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Hallelujah. So.
Jesulitwa hala lapaka ate hagekho munye sozabikho ofana naye. Jesu ingcwele wena ezulwini lakho. Jesu uyingcwele wena ezulwini lakho. Jesu uyingcwele wena
Hallelujah. 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 Ngizocela i-worship team. The last two verses. Number 104. O mina ni o mina egu segu ibe paga mina ni ngibingelela ingilozi yebandla ekhona phakathi kwethu. Ingilozi uNkulunkulu ayithuma kulowo aqalisa ngayo ibandla likamoya oyingcwele egama layo inguRafael, okuthi uma sibiza sithi unoRifael. Yona lengilozi uNkulunkulu ayikhetha ezingilozini ezisikhombisa ngoba phambi kaNkulunkulu kuneyingilozi ezisikhombisa ezinkulu. uRafael ungomunye walezo ingilozi ezisikhombisa. Haleluya. Kungakho bazalwane, uma simi siphakama endlini kaNkulunkulu siqala ngokuba sirecognize lengilozi uNkulunkulu ayithuma phakathi kwethu. Haleluya. Okuyiyona namhlanje njengoba kumi umholi uMalusi, okuyiyona ehleli phezu kwakhe. Haleluya. Ngibingelele umholi kaNkulunkulu, umholi uMalusi, engekho phakathi kwethu ngokwenyama, kepha siyakholwa and siyazi ukuthi ngomoya ukhona phakathi kwethu. Haleluya. Ngibingelela abagcotshwa, insizwa zevangeli, ikhonzikazi, abafundikazi, amalunga, ibandla lonke. Ngibingelele ngesibingelelo esavuka nenkosi yethu uJesu Kristu. Ma evuka ethuneni uJesu, abafundi bakhe behleli bevalile iminyango besaba abaJuda ababesanda kuyibulala inkosi, bekhuluma izindaba zokufa nezokuvuka kwenkosi uJesu. Lezi ndaba bezikhulumela phansi, bezikhuluma benovalo, bezikhuluma besaba ukuba hleze uma kuba khona ababezwayo bekhuluma ngalokho kuthiwa uJesu obetheliwe kodwa esekuthiwa uvukile kwabafileyo, lo muntu ozofunyanwa ekhuluma ngalo Jesu angase abulawe. Babe naloko kusaba kabaJuda, kepha inkosi uJesu yabe ingumoya, uthe umgcotshwa ukunene. Ngesikhathi behleli nayo babeyibona isiqu senyama, kodwa kahle kahle uJesu wabe engumoya. Haleluya. Kwadingeka kuba enye ingilozi enkulu enguGabriela kuba yiyona ethunywa kuMaria. Haleluya. Ngaphambi kokuba azalwe uJesu. Bazalwane baNkulunkulu, siyambonga uNkulunkulu ngalomhlangano uNkulunkulu asiphe wona ngumholi wakhe, ngoba ukube akekho umuntu waNkulunkulu ngabe asikho la esihlangene khona namhlanje. Kodwa ngenxa kaNkulunkulu nomuntu wakhe umholi uMalusi sibuthene kulendlu namhlanje, noma engekho ke yena phathu kwenyama ngenyama la phakathi kwethu bazalwane, uhlale khona nathi ngezikhathi zonke. Bake wathi umuntu waNkulunkulu uma sikhuleka ihora lesithathu la esihlangana khona siyimindeni, ingilozi yakhe ihamba izulazula yonke imizi abayingcwele abalikhulekayo leli hora lesithathu. Haleluya. Hayi bazalwane, umsebenzi wami mncane, sizokhuleka sibuyisela umsebenzi wonke kaNkulunkulu kuye, simbonga ngemisebenzi emkhulu ayenzile phakathi kwethu. Uma umgcotshwa umdawu senior izolo kwisemoni yakhe uthinta uMoses nabantwana bakaIsrael, ngesikhathi uMoses wayebuya ukulusa izimvu zemkho wakhe uJethro, uNkulunkulu uma ebonakala kuyena uyamthuma eGibhithe, ngoba uNkulunkulu ebonile ukuhlupheka kwabantwana bakhe eGibhithe. Uyiqale lapha ke kuExodus 3, uma ngaphosisi uqale kuverse 12 noma 11. Kodwa la engizoyibamba khona mina bazalwane ila ethi khona uMoses, ngingubani mina ongaya kuFaro ngiyokhuluma lezi ndaba. Ngibambelana uma esethi uMoses kuNkulunkulu bekhuluma naye bebhekene. Uthi uMoses, uma ke ngifika ngibatshela ukuthi ungithumile, ngizothi ubani ongithumile, ubani igama lakhe. Uthi uNkulunkulu uzothi, nginguye onguye, okuyikona ozofike ukusho uzothi unguye ungithumile kinina. Haleluya. Ngithathe lencwadi ngihlanganise nencwadi kaIsaiah chapter 46 uma ngaphosisi kuverse 4. Ngibhekise kubantu abasha. Uma uIsaiah umprofeti ekhuluma kuverse 4 uthi, noze niguge nginguye, akekho omunye uNkulunkulu ngaphandle kwami. Niya kungifanisa nobani na? Kusho uNkulunkulu. Ngenye indlela uthi uNkulunkulu, i-theme yalonyaka it is still he is God. Uthi uNkulunkulu, noze niguge nginguye, akekho munye ongafaniswa nami. Noma zingehla izinto, sibhekane nezimo ezinzima ekuphileni kwethu, kodwa yena onguye akasoze aguquka. Ithina esingaguquka ngoba singabantu sisenyameni webazalwane. Haleluya. Hebrew chapter 13 verse 8. Uma uyithinta uthi uJesu uyena izolo, uyena nanamuhla, uyena naphakade. Noze niguge nginguye. uJesu Kristu uyena izolo, uyena namhlanje, uyena naphakade. Still he is God. Kuyoze kube ngunaphakade enguyena. Hilo esimkhonzayo. Kuyenzeka abazalwane umuntu ayithole ebhekene nomzima. Athi uma ebhekene nomzima ambuze uNkulunkulu ukuthi ngabe lezinto ezingehlelayo ngabe usekhona yini uNkulunkulu. Embuza uNkulunkulu ebemazi ukuthi uNkulunkulu umbonile emenzela izinto, kodwa uyambuza uthi uma sekunje ngabe ukhona yini uNkulunkulu. Haleluya. Yena akaguquki, uyohlala emile enguye, ngoba obenguye kwasekuqaleni, usenguye namanje, uyoba nguye kuze bengunaphakade. Haleluya. Sikhuluma ngonguye la, akekho omunye esethemba kuye ngaphandle kwakhe. Uyena oyisiqalo, uyena oyisiphetho. Eka uNkulunkulu ke izinto akaplani njengathi. uNkulunkulu okwakhe ukwazi ekugcineni okokuqala. Into uyazi ingakaqali azi isiphetho sayo. Kodwa thina esikwaziyo sazi isiqalo sezinto, kodwa isiphetho saso asizazi. Ukhona nguye okunguyena owazi isiphetho sezinto webazalwane. Haleluya. Ekudingeka kuba ngekhathi zonke sithi siza kuwena onguye, owabukhona, oyoba khona. Lo wasithanda abazalwane singakamthandi thina. Lo wasazi thina singakamazi thina ngoba wabe nguye wasekuqaleni usenguye namanje still he is God. Noma ungabhekana nomzimba omngakanani kodwa engifuna ukuba mawukwazi namhlanje uNkulunkulu uhambe ngaphambili ekhuluma nomuntu wakhe esikhumbuza ukuba hayi boyabazalwane noma zingenzeka izinto sibone sishaya ngapha nangapha kodwa still he is God. Akekho munye ongafaniswa naye, akekho munye ongangaye. Uthi umhlabeleli uminani kuze kube phakade. Kodwa yoma nathi wabazalwane uma nathi simi ngakuye ngeke ame nathi uma simflathela thina. Kodwa engikuthandayo ngaye ukuthi noma singamflathela simshiye simdele bese sifikelwa isikhathi sokuba siyabuya siza kuye. Hayi webazalwane akasho ukuthi uphumaphi kodwa uvelathi come my child, come my child. Akubeke esifubeni sikaAbrahama. Sino Abrahama wethu ke nathi webazalwane ophambi kwaNkulunkulu omqalisi. Uma siyoma sibambelele kule imfundiso esifundiswayo namhlanje yilowo omele uNkulunkulu emhlabeni umoli umalusi. Nathi sothi uma siqhamuka asigona umqalisi asibeke esifubeni sakhe. Wena wabona uLazarus okwathi umesuka emhlabeni thiwa wathathwa zingilosi zayombeka esifubeni sikaAbrahama. Kuyoba njalo nakithi kodwa uma sibambelele kulowo nguye owayenguye onguye oyoba nguye osenguye namanje. Haleluya. Uyena wezabazalwane esimkhonzayo, uyena esimethembayo. Alikho elinye ithemba esingaba nalo ngaphandle kwakhe. Yabona uma uNkulunkulu engakithi akukho ngamelana nathi. Uma uNkulunkulu engakithi akukho ongamelana nathi. Kunento lela abazalwane eyenzakalayo uma umuntu ene connection eseyindaweni eyiphezulu enamathuba onke okuba uma ukhulume naye uyokuthatha kufake ezintweni. Enze isiqiniseko sokuthi uma ungakuye naye ngakuye uyophumelela ngoba ungakuwe. Kodwa ngiqonda ukusho ke mina noma ngabe ke labo bantu abangaba ngakuwe noma mangaba 1,000 bengakuwe kodwa uNkulunkulu eyedwa udlula bonke laba bantu abangaba ngakuwe beyinkulungwane yena yedwa ngoba usenguye uyoba nguye uyohlala nguye futhi. Haleluya. Ilona ke bazalwane esimtshelwa ngabaholi abasisi kwenye indawo basise kuphileni, abasisi kwenye indawo basise ekukhanyeni ngoba uma sibambelele kubo njengomama okwathi uma kuJesu enesifo wathi uma ngibamba ichopho lengubo hleze ngisinde. Nathi bazalwane noma ngabe singashayika ngapha nangapha kodwa ihlo lethu silibhekise kulowo uNkulunkulu amisileyo, lowo uNkulunkulu athe uyena akhuluma naye, uyena owenza kuba asixhumanise naye uNkulunkulu. Haleluya. Uma ke sibambe noma ichopho lengubo yakhe, uma sibambe noma ichopho lengubo yakhe, hleze sisinde. Uthi umtimande cotsha ukunene, uJesu uthi kubafundi bakhe asiwele siye ngaphesheya. Kodwa uthola ukuthi abafundi benkosi abathatha uJesu bamfaka emkhunjini. uJesu uyalala, uya ngemuva esikebheni uyolala. Ziyafika ivunguvungu zamaza, umkhumbi usho ukucwila. Kodwa bakhumbula ukuthi sinenkosi enguJesu ela emkhunjini. Uma singase siye kuyo, hleze singaba nokuphepha. Uma befika bemnyakazisa, uJesu uthulisa ulwandle uthi thula. Kodwa bayambuza bathi ubani lo? Bebehamba naye, bedla naye, bephuza naye. Bayambuza bathi ngubani lo? Bazalwane benkosi, kunezinto zikaNkulunkulu ezifihliwe engezona ezethu, okwezikaNkulunkulu. Uma ubheka uDeuteronomy chapter 29 verse 29, uthi okufihliweyo okaNkulunkulu, bese kuba khona okuveziweyo ongokwenu nabantwana benu. Abafundi benkosi bahamba noJesu, bambona eyiflesh, bacabanga ukuthi uyiflesh, uyinyama. Kanti uJesu akayona inyama, umoya. Izinto yaNkulunkulu ngithe ifihliwe, ngoba uJesu wayengeke avele ehle nje ezulwini ewumoya bese phenduka inyama, kodwa kwadingeka ukuthi angene esiswini sikamame kuze abe umuntu. Nathi bazalwane, angimlinganisi noJesu, angimlinganisi noJesu lo mise uNkulunkulu, kodwa kufanele masazi ukuthi ungubani. Akasiye lo esimcabanga ukuthi uyena, nalo esimbona ukuthi uyena. Ungomunye umuntu ongeyena owakulomhlaba ongowasezulwini. Haleluya. Owalethwa uNkulunkulu ngenkatho emhlabeni kuba kunesizwe esesele ezosala dengwane uma sekufike isikhathi sikuthi salowo engimkhethile mina adlule emhlabeni eze kumina Jehova, kuyodinga kuba khona omunye. Uthi uJesu ngelinye ilanga uthi obone mina ubone uBaba ongithumileyo. Ngithi mina obona umalusi ubone umqalisi, wabona nenciko. Angiyibonanga inciko, kodwa ngike ngizwa abantu abadala bethi hayi namhlanje engathi kade eyinciko. Besuzwa abanye ngelinye ilanga bethi hayi kodwa namhlanje ebe umqalisi nezinqotho. Obone mina ubona uBaba ongithumileyo, obona umalusi ubona umqalisi, wabona nenciko. Haleluya. Hayi sesemkhulekweni bazalwane, ngicela ukuthinta incwadi esiya ngayo emkhulekweni, incwadi yabaseFilipi abase Philip chapter 3 ngizofunda nje ivesi elilodwa uverse 6 ithi ningakhathazeki ngalutho kepha ezintweni zonke ukucela kwenu akwaziwe uNkulunkulu ngokukhuleka nangokunxusa nangokubonga ningakhathazeki ngalutho kepha ezintweni zonke ukucela kwenu akwaziwe uNkulunkulu ngokukhuleka nokunxusa nangokubonga. Haleluya. Uma bazalwane sifika kulesikhathi size uNkulunkulu ke sizokhuleka, size uNkulunkulu sizomnxusa, size uNkulunkulu sizombonga, sizokhuleka uNkulunkulu kuba ezintweni zonke ezikhona ezweni emhlabeni wonke njengamakholwa njengabantwana baNkulunkulu akasilalele ukukhuleka kwethu. Haleluya. Uthi umbhalo oyingcwele yaxolisa ukhuluma ngoElijah. uElijah wabe engumuntu onjengathi ngokudabuka, wakhuleka nokukhuleka, ekhulekela ukuba izulu lingani. Alinanga izulu iminyaka emithathu nenyanga eziyisithupha. Waphinde wakhuleka, ekhulekela ukuba izulu line. Lana izulu, umhlabathi wathela izithelo zawo. Haleluya. Engiqonda ukusho ukuthi wabe engumuntu njengathi, wakhuleka. Ungayibukeli phansi uthi hayi mina mhlawumbe uNkulunkulu akangizwa. Ungayibukeli phansi uzeye hayi ngeke umkhuleko wami ufike kuNkulunkulu. uNkulunkulu uyalalela ngoba uNkulunkulu wazi imicabango yomuntu engakayiphimiseli. Ngenye indlela wazi umkhuleko wakho nowami ngingakawukhuleki. Ngakho ke impendulo zayo imikhuleko ngaphambi kokuba siyikhuleke uNkulunkulu usuke seyihlelile impendulo zemkhuleko ngoba usuke yazi imkhuleko yethu. Haleluya. Nangokunxusa. Ngazi noma bazalwane igama lokunxusa, ukunxusa bazalwane angenze umzekelo ukuthi njenge South Africa uma sihwebelana nezwe njenge Europe kuba khona izithunywa zala ezisinxuselayo ngale, kusho ukuthi abasikhulumelayo, kusho ngenye indlela ukukhulumela abanye abantu. Unxusa ke webazalwane ungayikhulekeli wena, khulekela nomunye. Hleze ukhona omaziyo shado wakhe uyabhidlika, hleze kukhona omaziyo oseyinkingeni ezinkulu, nxusele uNkulunkulu. Bese uyambonga uNkulunkulu uthi hayi uNkulunkulu ke ngiyazi ukuthi ngalesikhathi nangalomzuzu njoba sengicelile kuwena impendulo zikhona ukuze zingaveli hleze yimini engiyisithiyo sokuba zibonakala ngoba zona suwe sezikhona. Haleluya. Yilo uNkulunkulu ke ethi le theme still he is God. Usenguye bazalwane, usenguye, uyohlale nguye naphakade. Haleluya. Ngicela iworship team isihlabelelele siye emkhulekweni. Sizokhuleka sonke bazalwane.
Akukho umuntu ongakuNkulunkulu, akukho umuntu ongakuNkulunkulu,
onamandla onke mdali wezulu nomhlaba wena nkulunkulu oyisiqalo sakho konke wena baba ophethe ubukhosi bezulu nobasemhlabeni nangaphansi komhlaba nguwena obusayo wabe ungunkulunkulu eqaleni usengunkulunkulu namanje yoba nguye unkulunkulu kuze kube ngunaphakade akekho omunye esingamkhonza nesingamdumisa nesingaphakamisa igama lakhe ngaphandle kwakho baba wethu ingcwele sikhothama phambi kobuso bakho sikhuleka uNkulunkulu wethu onamandla ukuba Nkosi lomsebenzi baba osibizele kuwo njengalokhu baba sihlangene nolusha baba siyakholwa ukuba ukho konke Nkosi eyingcwele osifundise kona baba kulomhlangano baba kuyothola indawo enhlizweni zethu kuyothola indawo ekuphileni kwethu kube yikona baba ukusiqhubayo nasekukholeni kwethu baba siyacela baba sikhulekela Nkosi eyingcwele imindeni ebhidlikayo sikhulekela baba abantwana babantu abalahlekelwe imisebenzi kakhulu baba intsha yethu baba esicelayo kuba mawuveze uNkulunkulu amathuba njengalokhu Nkosi eyingcwele lomhlangano inhloso baba ukuba ulusha lethu baba lusimame luqiniseke baba ekukholweni kwabo baba siyazazi izimo ababhekene nazo ekukhuleni kwabo siyazazi baba izimo ababhekene nazo ekuhambeni kwabo ngalokho baba siyabanxusela kuwena ukuba ngesandla sakho baba somusa ubabiyele baba ngalo ugange lwakho lwasezulwini baba wethu oyingcwele siyabonga Nkosi ngomsebenzi wonke uNkulunkulu olungileyo ngomuntu wakho baba omisileyo ngokuba Nkosi eyingcwele ukuba bekungengaye lo msebenzi baba ubungebe ube khona kepha ngenxa yomusa owasinikeza wona ngaye baba ngalokho siyakubonga baba sibonga uNkulunkulu oyingcwele ibandla lonke lakho sibonga baba ulusha lonke lwakho baba mawuligcine njalo esandleni sakho baba uNkulunkulu onamandla mawunqobeke Nkosi ilingo zonke wahlule baba ngegama lakho ngokuba elakho igama liyahlula elakho igama liyanqoba uNkulunkulu onamandla wena oyithemba lethu lingekho elinye ithemba baba esingabambelela kulo ngaphandle kokubambelela kuwena siphe baba lawo mandla okuhlala kuwena ngokuba Nkosi eyingcwele akuyi ngokwazi nangokuhlakanipha kepha konke baba siyakwamukela kuwena konke baba kungenxa yomusa wakho dwala laphakade siyakubonga Nkosi eyingcwele siyakubonga Mesiya wethu olungileyo siyacela ke uNkulunkulu olungileyo ukuba lo msebenzi baba makube kuhle kuwe kube kuhle baba nakulowo omisileyo konke ke baba sicela ngokwethemba kuwena ngaye uJesu Kristu inkosi kuze kube phakade amen ukubonga udumo amandla ubukhosi makube kuyena ohleli kuso isihlalo sakhe sobukhosi nakuJesu Kristu umsindisi wethu nakumoya ingcwele owawuthumela phakathi kwethu kuze kube phakade amen amen. Bazalwane ngibonga ithuba uNkulunkulu angiphe lona kuba ngime phambi kwenu ngalolu suku lokugcina lomhlangano. Ngideda ithuba kozoqhubeka nezinhlelo esinazo. Amen.
Sithwalile siphambano siphambano sithwalile siphambano silibandla lakhe sithwalile siphambano sithwalile siphambano sithwalile siphambano sinabandla akhe dumisani uJehova dumisani uJehova dumisani uJehova ninabantu bakhe dumisani uJehova dumisani uJehova dumisani uJehova ninabantu bakhe
Siyabonga bazalwane umsebenzi wonke kumnyama ngaphandle kodwa ingilosi izonikhanyisela. Amen. Engathi abazalwane bangahamba ngokuthula baphephe ezindleleni zonke. Amen. 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 Ukuthula kumahlobo siyakuthanda mholi wethu. Amen. Hambani namandla, oh, hambani namandla, oh, hambani namandla, oh, hambani namandla, mina ngizohamba, hambani